Hey guys, DashingSceptile here, and as all of you know, Mega Evolution is one of the greatest mechanics Game Freak has ever created. Mega Evolution is a phenomenon that requires the trainer to hold a keystone and a Pokémon to hold its respective Mega Stone. We all know that Mega Evolution changes many Pokémon, like Mawile, who was very pathetic. It went from a utility rocker with Intimidate to one of the greatest Mega Evolutions ever by receiving its amazing, huge power ability, effectively giving Mega Mawile more than 600 attack, which is insane, on top of receiving a major stat buff. And Pidgeot, who was a mediocre physical attacker, did a complete 180, and through Mega Evolution, its role changed entirely, and it got an incredible special attack and speed buff, and gained the No Guard ability, being able to land those hurricanes and heat waves guaranteed. Altaria, who was a pretty decent Pokemon, thanks to Mega Evolution, Mega Altaria became the first ever Dragon and Fairy type in existence and gained the ability Pixelate, which turns all normal moves into Fairy moves, and could run away with Dragon Dance sets, although it could also break through teams with special sets. And then we have Kangaskhan, who received a Mega Evolution and gained the Parental Bond ability and dominated VGC in 2014 and 2015. But there is one Mega Evolution that no one talks about. This Pokemon was so bad, they had to increase one of its base stats by 70 through Mega Evolution. Please welcome Mega Beedrill. First, let's rewind a bit and talk about what you can do to support, yeah! If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like on this video, as this has taken me multiple months to create. While you're down there, leave a comment and tell me what your favorite Mega Evolution is, since Legend ZA releases next week and I am super excited. You're doing everything else, why not subscribe? It's literally free to do. What are you waiting for? My birthday isn't exactly 2 weeks, and your support by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing the video with all of your friends would mean the absolute world to me. So, let's talk about Beedrill. Beedrill is a bug and poison type, and competitively, he is absolutely pathetic. His stats are so mediocre that no one even gave him a chance, and he was slaughtered by power creep. He was outclassed by everything that had a brain for 18 years straight. At that point, everyone gave up on Beedrill and determined that he was a lost cause. However, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Beedrill was given the greatest gift of all time, Beedrillite. And at that moment, after 18 years of obscurity, there was hope for Beedrill. The Beedrillite allows Beedrill to Mega Evolve into Mega Beedrill, whose stats are absolutely absurd. Beedrill lost 30 points to its special attack, which is perfectly fine, because in return, Beedrill gained 60 points to its attack stat and 70 points to its speed stat, and that's not all. Mega Beedrill gained the ability Adaptability, where all of Beedrill's stab moves are boosted by 2 times instead of 1.5 times. For those that do not know, stab means same type attack bonus. Since Mega Beedrill is a bug and poison type, he gains an incredible power boost to his bug and poison type moves, which is incredible for Mega Beedrill. Now, let's go over Beedrill's incredible move pool. Beedrill has tons of amazing stab moves that are boosted by its ability adaptability, like U-turn to do an insane amount of damage to the opponents and swap out in the process. X-Scissor, which is a very strong and reliable attack. Fell Stinger can be deadly on Mega Beedrill due to its secondary effect. If the opposing Pokemon faints to Fell Stinger, it raises the user's attack stat by 3 stages, allowing Beedrill to potentially steamroll teams. And it has Poison Jab, which is a very powerful and reliable attack and has a 30% chance to poison the opponent. Mega Beedrill has amazing coverage options in Brick Break for Steel types, Drill Run for Steel and Poison types, and Knockoff for Ghost types, which can remove the opponent's items in the process. And it has Endeavor, which is a move that makes the opponent's HP equal the current amount of HP you are at, which can allow Beedrill a last-ditch effort if he is about to go down, or it can be used more frequently due to Beedrill's low HP stat. Beedrill also gets access to powerful setup moves like Substitute, which can create a decoy in exchange for 25% of Beedrill's health. While behind a Substitute, you are immune to status moves like Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave, which can weaken Beedrill or cut Beedrill's speed in half. But the Substitute breaks once Beedrill takes an attack that does more than 25% of its HP. Beedrill also gets access to Swords Dance, which is a powerful setup option, allowing Beedrill to double his attack immediately. Beedrill also can assist his teammates through the use of Reflect, which halves all physical damage to all allies for 5 turns, and Tailwind, which doubles the speed of all allies for 4 turns. Beedrill also has an insane amount of utility moves, like Defog, which can remove all hazards on the field, Roost, which can heal Beedrill, giving him some longevity and restore 50% of his HP, Toxic, which can badly poison the target, effectively putting it on a timer that cannot miss, due to Beedrill being a poison type, which, if you didn't know, poison types can never miss the move Toxic. Speaking of Toxic, Beedrill also has one of the most important utility moves in Toxic Spikes. For those that are unaware, Toxic Spikes is one of the deadliest moves in competitive Pokemon. It is an entry hazard that has a max of 2 layers that you set up versus the opponent. Whenever they swap Pokemon, any Pokemon that steps on Toxic Spikes gets poisoned and loses 1/8 of its max HP every turn if you have 1 layer of Toxic Spikes up, which is all most players usually need. But if you have 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up, that Pokemon will lose 1/16 of its max HP, and for every turn this Pokemon is in the battle, it will lose an extra 1/16 of its HP. But this effect resets when you swap out Pokemon, but when you swap back in, the effect starts up again and you lose 1/16 of your HP for every turn that Pokemon is in the battle. As you can see, this hazard is game-changing because all of your Pokemon can potentially be on a timer and take damage every turn when they enter the battle, which can put you at a severe disadvantage. However, some Pokemon are immune to toxic spikes, like flying types or Pokemon that levitate, because they aren't touching the spikes, unless gravity is in effect. Poison type and steel type Pokemon also cannot get poisoned by toxic spikes. And Pokemon holding the heavy duty boots, which makes the holder immune to all hazards, including toxic spikes. But there's a hidden mechanic people don't know about. Any poison type that is on the ground, also known as a grounded poison, when they enter the field, since their bodies are full of poison, they remove all layers of toxic spikes from your side on switching. This is another added buff to Beedrill because he is a grounded poison, which makes Beedrill an insane poison type by being able to set and remove toxic spikes extremely fast and immediately U-turn out thanks to its base 145 speed. Speaking of speed, the #1 rule of competitive Pokemon is speed is key. And as you guys know, Beedrill has an amazing elite speed stat of base 145 speed, allowing it to naturally outspeed 85% of all Pokemon, which is amazing. However, this wasn't always the case. Starting in Generation 6, when Mega Evolution was created, there was a speed mechanic where on the first turn you Mega Evolved, you wouldn't get the immediate speed buff. You had to wait one turn, which forced Beedrill to run Protect, so it could get off its Mega Evolution safely and gain that speed buff the next turn. Starting in Generation 7 and later, the speed buff upon Mega Evolution was included with the turn order, allowing Beedrill to immediately gain the speed boost upon Mega Evolution, allowing Beedrill to become the speed demon that he is to this day. Natures are traits that Pokemon can have that boost one of their stats by 10%, but lower another one of their stats by 10%, or they can have a neutral nature that doesn't affect any stat. Mega Beedrill's best two natures are Jolly and Adamant. Jolly is known as a speed nature, which increases Mega Beedrill's speed by 10%, and Adamant is known as a power nature, which increases Mega Beedrill's attack by 10%. Both of these natures decrease Mega Beedrill's special attack, which is awesome due to the fact that he has base 15 special attack. No one is using that anytime soon, I can assure you. For example, Mega Beedrill can go Jolly Nature, which would allow Beedrill to outrun Dragapult, who has base 142 speed. But most of the time, Mega Beedrill can run Adamant and gain more power versus Pokemon that are base 127 speed and lower, meaning it can outrun Pokemon with elite speed tiers like Tornadus Therian, Greninja, Darkrai, and Meowscarada, but needs to go Jolly for Pokemon like Tapu Koko and Dragapult. In the main format I play, Pokemon Draft League, which is basically fantasy football but Pokemon, you draft Pokemon and face people known as coaches each week until someone is crowned the champion. Mega Beedrill in Pokemon Draft League is usually priced between 9 and 11 points, which is kinda cheap due to its insane power and incredible speed that it provides to any team. But why is that? Let me show you the unfortunate flaws that Mega Beedrill has. This one to me is a buff and a flaw, but Beedrill is forced to hold the Beedrillite, meaning it cannot run heavy-duty boots, protective pads, choice scarf, or choice band. Let me show you why that's important. So, similarly to toxic spikes, there are 3 other entry hazards that are detrimental to Beedrill: Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Sticky Web. Stealth Rock is the most commonly known entry hazard and is a move that sets rocks on the opponent's side of the field, and when you swap Pokemon, it does damage that has rock-type properties. So for example, when Mega Beedrill comes in on Stealth Rock, it loses 25% of its health because Mega Beedrill is weak to rock-type moves. Spikes is an entry hazard that can be stacked up to 3 layers. 1 spike removes 1/8 on entry, 2 spikes remove 1/6 on entry, and 3 spikes remove 1/4 on entry, which can chip down Beedrill very fast alongside rocks. And that isn't even the worst hazard for Beedrill to face. Sticky Web, which is an entry hazard that lowers a Pokemon speed stat by 1 stage on entry, which is a huge deal for Beedrill because Beedrill's main purpose is speed control. If he cannot keep that speed control and gets caught in a Sticky Web, he no longer has a purpose and becomes a sitting duck, which usually allows people to sacrifice Beedrill in battle. However, there are ways to remove hazards from your side of the field, like Rapid Spin and Defog, which teams usually bring during games to assist Mega Beedrill. Another way people deal with Mega Beedrill is through the item Rocky Helmet, which is an item where every time a Pokemon makes contact with the holder of the Rocky Helmet, that Pokemon loses 1/6 of its health, which can chip down Beedrill very easily, combined with Stealth Rocks. For example, if Beedrill switches into Rocks and takes 1 hit of Rocky Helmet, he's already lost about 42% of his health, which is straight up ridiculous. Thankfully, Beedrill learns Knockoff and can remove those dreadful Rocky Helmets. There are also abilities that can status Beedrill if he makes contact, like Static and Flame Body, that have a 30% chance to paralyze or burn any Pokemon that makes contact with it, and unfortunately, all of Mega Beedrill's strong physical moves make contact. However, if these status conditions do happen, there are a bunch of Pokemon that learn Heal Bell and Aromatherapy that can cure the user's entire team of status conditions, allowing Mega Beedrill to once again cause havoc. Now, let's go back to Beedrill's stats, and we see that Mega Beedrill's bulk isn't the greatest. It actually has good special defense in base 80, but base 65 HP and base 40 defense is the definition of a glass cannon, and there's an item that can allow Mons to outspeed you. Choice Scarf. This item allows the holder to gain a 1.5 times boost to its speed stat, but can only use the first move selected every time it enters the field. And this is by far Beedrill's biggest flaw. Being able to have the mindset of, okay, I should be able to outspeed this thing and go for U-turn and pivot out and do massive damage, potentially picking up the knockout to, oh, it's Scarf. However, since Mega Beedrill is so fast, it can actually outrun any Pokemon that has base 80 speed or lower that is holding a Choice Scarf guaranteed. Let's go ahead and take a look at what competitive Pokemon formats we will be talking about. I've already explained what draft leagues are, but tournaments are essentially draft leagues, but the main difference is the amount of Pokemon you draft. In draft leagues, you usually draft between 9 and 11 Mons with 110 points. However, in tournaments, you must draft 8 Mons with 90 points, nothing more and nothing less, which gives you less pieces to fit certain rules, and you have to use strategy to figure out how to structure teams correctly. I believe that Mega Beedrill shows its true potential in tournaments because most of the time it can run away with going Adamant Nature, which allows its insane power to break through opposing teams easier. Like I said before, Mega Beedrill is usually priced between 9 and 11 points, and having an insane physical breaker and elite speed tier in a format that you can only draft 8 Mons makes Mega Beedrill an insane value pick for teams during tournaments. Recently, I participated in a team tour where I was a part of the greatest team, the DONBOZOS. Bozo, rah rah rah. We won the entire tournament, and I used Mega Beedrill in a format that I had zero knowledge of, Gen 7. And after that tournament, I became very fond of Gen 7 and drafted Mega Beedrill in more Gen 7 leagues. So, let's go over all the replays I've gathered on Pokemon Showdown of Mega Beedrill and see how well it did. These replays will be separated into 4 groups, and I will explain what all the groups are. We will start off with the Stung group. These replays will feature games where Beedrill did absolutely nothing, by not getting a single KO, being used as a sacrifice to allow one of your other Mons in, or becoming the cheerleader and comes to the battle but doesn't get off a single attack. Is Beedrill necessary to win games? After the Stung group, we will go into the Beedrill group. These replays are a collection of Beedrill doing just okay in games by getting off multiple moves that can assist in winning the game. After the Beedrill group, we will go into the Unfortunate B group. These replays are prime examples of what happens if Beedrill encounters unfortunate hacks in dire situations during games. He's right there, so close but no cigar. And our final group will be known as the Unbelievable group. These replays are absolutely unbelievable, and you just have to watch these replays. They're incredible. Before we begin, there will be a timestamp of when each group starts, so if you want to jump around groups, feel free. Now, let's start off with the Stung group and work our way up. Welcome to the Stung part of this video. So, we will be going over the replays that someone fumbled or where Beedrill didn't do anything. So, this first replay is one of mine, and You see it in front of you. We tried running a regular Beedrill because of the sniper ability. Basically, the idea of this game was we didn't think Landor's Therian would run any speed. So in that case, we were like, okay, we can go Speedy Beedrill, 8 laser focus into HP Ice, and OHKO the Landorus. Fun fact, it actually does OHKO because of the 45 base special attack and the sniper ability. We freaked out when we saw this in prep, and we just had to bring it. It would be the funniest thing if it actually worked. Spoiler alert, as you know, this is the stung category, so it did not work. But let's go over the replay. So this is just normal stuff. So the funny Beedrill, we ran a weakness policy Infernape. This was to be like a Tapu Fini, I believe. Rotom was Fizdef-ish, more so offensive. Mew was Ground DMZ with Nasty Plot to knock out Skuntank. Silvally was Max Spidef for something. Oh yeah, that's right, Mega Manectric. Yeah, Mega Manectric, that was an issue. And the Spiritomb, this was a try to check a Victini. Here's the replay. Let's go into it. So, we lead off with Silvally on Landorus. Really good lead for us. So, immediately here, I just go for Parting Shot. And who comes in? We bring in Beedrill immediately. And we see them go Skuntank, I Laser Focus. And if I'm a real one, I go for HP Ice here, but I don't. If I went for HP Ice there, Landorus died, and it would have been the most comedy moment of all time. So we see a Parting Shot back in the Beedrill trying to go for it. We see it actually has speed, so that's unfortunate. We went for HP Ice and do 12%. What were we cooking, chat? We go into Silvally on the Night Slash, and then we see the thing come in, do a Parting Shot. We defog. Good. We defog the rocks for Beedrill. So we Parting Shot into Roll Wash. That makes sense. So we take a good amount. Potato Drop does suck, but we go for a Volt into the Silvally ground, and we take a little bit of damage. We take a little bit of damage, so we go for Multi. Doesn't affect because it's flying. We go for Ice Beam, and we knock out Landorus. So okay, maybe Beedrill has a chance. So we see Kartana come in, we just die. Crit does not matter. This is Kartana, lads. Okay. So we see Spiritomb come in, and I go for, I believe, him for fire. Yep. Because I won, because that mon is a big issue for the team. So we go Rotom, and then we they Moonblast, knock us out, that's fine. I go Beedrill, and I go for a Poison Jab here, and we do 23, and we unfortunately go down. We go into Mew. We D-Mew, Z-Type Rage, because it wasn't Spidef, it was Fizdef, so it just died. And then we see Victini, and since it's Balloon, that's basically game. A Psychic comes off, we can't touch this thing. We go Spiritomb, Blue Flare, just knocks us out at this point. I go for Sucker, doesn't do anything. We see Blue Flare, knocks us out, and then Mew and Infernape cannot touch Victini, like at all. Because I think this thing was a Scarf. So, it might be a Scarf, if I remember right. No, it was a Scarf. I was just very slow in Infernape, because we were using Infernape as the Kartana, if I remember right. So yeah, GG's, this was the first game because Beedrill failed, because I cooked way too hard with Beedrill. Now, let's go to the next game. Our next replay is from the Boomers Association, ran by Neshoba. So, let's go over our team, and then let's go into the game. So, a Beedrill with 200 speed, 3/6 Spidef, max attack with Adamant, U-turn, Poison Jab, SD Drill Run. It goes really good here. If I get up an SD, Poison Jab and Drill Run are really strong. If I get up an SD, there are not many answers to Poison Jab plus Drill Run, which is amazing. So, that's Swarm, we have Primarina, AV, we take a +2 Mega Houndoom Sludge Bomb, and we can Sparkling Aria, if it's like sub-plot, we can go through that, and we have Jet for priority. Hydreigon, this is my main bait, with HP Ice for the Glide Score, we have Fire Blast for the Clap Key with Z-Fire, because those were the only 2 threats I was afraid of from Beedrill. Ramantan is Adamant Scarf, it looked really good this game, and Necrozma was Helmet, this was my initial pivot if they went Uxie, because Scarf Uxie could OHKO Beedrill, I didn't want to deal with that, and then we had Spidef Serena to Delta Spin. So, let's go into the game. So, we see the game, so I'm gonna play. So we see a Glide Score on Beedrill lead. Now, I'm just swapping because I do not want to play against a Scarf. I do not want to play against a Scarf Glide Score. So we go for T-Wave, they go for T-Wave, Only Majesty, we U-turn into the Scarf Darm, and this is a lot of damage. So I just went for U-turn into the Necrozma. And then here, I just go for Rocks as they go into the Clef, which is very good. So here, I go Serena, they can't ever T-Wave me because of Only Majesty. So Glasgow comes in, get a Brox, I go for U-turn as I go into the Hydreigon, and here I just rip a HP Ice, and it does not much, which is fine because I just Z-Fire Blast here, and Klefki just eviscerates and dies, which is great. So now they go Cure, and I'm okay, this thing is probably Scarf, so I go Necro, and Fusion Bolt comes up, okay, yeah, most definitely Scarf. So Houndoom comes in, I Morning Sun, and here I just go hard from Arena. So they Mega and they go for Dark Pulse. I'm like, okay, that's fine. 9% is crazy, by the way. So I double into Necrozma on Toxapex coming in, and they do not. So I just go back into Prima, and we see a Dark Pulse, that's fine. So now I just go for a Sparkling Aria, as they go Peps this time, which is very interesting. So now I just go hard Necrozma, and if you Toxic, so be it. You go back into Houndoom. Okay, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go into Marina here. We see a Dark Pulse, that's fine. I believe now I am in range of Sludge Bomb, so I just go for a Aqua Jet. So now we go into Beedrill, we take Rocks, and we see Sucker Punch, and we almost died to that, which is crazy. And the reason why I did Stung, Beedrill got a kill, yes, but he almost didn't get any kills. So here I went for Rapid Spin, but unfortunately I hit myself, which is bad, because if I got off a Rapid Spin, Beedrill would still have a lot of potential to win this game. So we see Hydra go down to a Scarf Ice Beam. Here I just go for I think a U-turn, yep, U-turn into the Necrozma, and I just go for a Morning Sun here. And here is one of the most useful things you will ever see. I sack Beedrill on the Supersonic Sky Strike, which is insane. I sack Beedrill on the Z move. That's a W play by me. So we each concussion attacks come in, and at this point the game's over. When the confusion hit, I thought the game was over at that point because no spin meant Darm and Necrozma, meant Darm, Necrozma, and Beedrill. got hit by rocks, allowing them to get shipped down faster, and we were just in a bad position. So we go for Flare Blitz. It doesn't do much, and then we go for another Flare Blitz, and we just get knocked out. And that's fine. So yeah, that is the game versus Will in BA Boomer Association. So let's go to our next game. We're here for another game in Boomer Association versus, I believe their name was Eric. So I cannot find the team for this game, so we're just gonna go with this. I remember a lot of things. I was a Limber Roost Halucha to beat the Zygarde and Encore it into like Glare or Dragon Dance, and that would be amazing. Palisand was here for the Terrakion. Primarina was here to do a lot of damage. It was pretty good offensively, and I believe I was Sold Fest. Beedrill was obviously the Beedrillite, and I believe I was SD Drill Run this week. Darmantan, I believe I was actually Adamant Band. I might have been Adamant. I believe I was Adamant or Jolly Band. Darn did really good this game. The only resist was Zygarde and Rotom Wash, which, fun fact, apparently Rotom Wash drops to Choice Band, Darm, Flare Blitz to 2 of them, which is just dumb. And then our Hydreigon, I believe we were either Scarf or Z-Move here. But yeah, let's go into the game. So, we see Scizor lead, and the Primarina comes in, I U-turn, and the Celebi comes in, and I just go for an HP Fire. I was honestly very fast Prim, so that was interesting. So I just went for Moonblast, they D-Gleam, I just go for another Moonblast, and I get the Power, and at this point, I just know I can go hard Beedrill, I don't die anything. So here I just Mega Evolve and I go for a U-turn, do good amount of damage, and then we see Darmanitan come in, and we lose our Band, because that's Scarf Scizor. When I saw it outspeed initially, I was like, it could be Scarf. So Darm dies, they kill Scizor, which was honestly the only Beedrill check, so we go back in Beedrill, and we go for a U-turn, and I was honestly pretty afraid of this being weak arm, I'm not gonna lie. So we just go for Rocks, which is fine. And then we go into Primarina on a rock, perfectly fine. So here, I believe I just go for a Moonblast or a Scald. Yep, Scald, that makes sense. We get burned, very nice. However, they can just recover, and they can swap out because of Natural Cure and remove that burn. So I just they recover as I go for Moonblast, and here I see Energy Bomb, okay. I see Moonblast, and then I'm like, wait a minute. After that turn, I was like, wait a minute. That moveset, Recover, Dazzling Gleam, Earth Power, Energy Ball, you were walled by Mega Beedrill. That's a crazy bring, not gonna lie. But yeah, we go hard Halucha, and I needed more Fizz Depth. I was max HP, now max Fizz Depth. I really need more Fizz Depth because that was not good. You see Dragon Dance, I'm like, oh man, this is an issue. Because they Z move, and I just die. I'm like, okay, that's trouble. So I just go for a Draco here, or Dragon Pulse, that's fine. So I'm Life Orb, yeah, that makes sense. We Flash Cannon, and they miss Crash, and that's really big, because I'm able to kill the Piloswine. And then they go back to Zygarde and go for E-Speed, which I am going to E-Speed, so I die, which is perfectly fine. So here I go into Palisand, and I now know their set basically. Their Arrows, Extreme Speed, Dragon Dance, and then their last move is a Dragon move, and I think it has to be Outrage, because it went for Dragon Z. So here I'm like, okay, I think it's Outrage. So here I just spam Shore Up to see what their last move is as I get hit by Toxic. So I Shore Up, they went for Outrage. I still have a Fairy type, so I can just go hard into Primarina on the Outrage, and here I can just go for a Moonblast. But they got a Poison, it's perfectly fine. Here, they Rock Slide, I'm like, okay, that's fine. We go into Palisand, and Palisand at this point does just win the game. I almost want to hard Beedrill, being like, okay, can I go hard Beedrill on Terrakion being toxic? Because I think Terrakion is toxic this game because, as we see, I believe it was toxic because it cannot not touch Palisand any other way. So we toxic, and then the Earth Power kills Terrakion, and as you guys saw, Beedrill did not get a single kill, so that's why this game is in stun. So yeah, let's go over to our final stun game. So I play in a lot of team tours, and both these people were captains on the teams I was a part of in 2 different tours. So, this is gonna be interesting. So yeah, we're watching from the Beedrill side because obviously this is all about Beedrill. So we just play. So we see Slowbro on Decoupled. We're like, okay, this is scary. We do not let go. And we're okay, this is bad. Rocks on Energy Ball. We knock off the boots, and we go for Energy Ball. And unfortunately here we make a misplay. We roost on another Energy Ball, and we take way too much damage. I'm like, okay, so we go to Egg Slash, and we see an Energy Ball. That's fine. So we go for lefties. So we see a Volt into the Iron Treads on a unfortunate Toxic. So we're a tiny bit behind here. We go for King Shield on a Rock. Very good play from Don. So we see Slowbro come in, and we see a Earthquake. Good play from Neji, and we see a Spin. Removing those rocks immediately is crazy. So we teleport into Avalugg, and I really wish we were boots on this thing, but we're not. We see an Ice Spinner as we go for a Rapid Spin, removing these hazards, which is great. But I remember why we're Helmet for the Earth Screw Rapid, which is also Para, which is very scary. So we go Aegislash on the Primarina, we take no damage, and we just go for a Toxic, in my opinion, I think here. On the Iron Treads, unfortunately, coming in. Yep, figured about that. So now we go into Slowbro on the Treads, go for Rocks. We see Goodra on the Teleport, and we see Glassdoor go for Roost on an Ice Beam, I assume. Skull, that makes sense, okay. So now at this point, we see the Vega come in on a Rock, very good. So now I think we pivot down to Aegislash, yep, that makes sense. So we see Energy Ball, that's fine. So that drop is really big for us, not gonna lie. So we see a Volt, and we take 34, which is not great. We see a Shadow Ball, though. We see a Shadow Ball, big hit on the Treads. That's a really big hit on the Treads, not gonna lie. We see a King Shoot on the Earthquake, and we go into Avalugg on a Rapid Spin. So does that helmet? It does that helmet, so it cannot remove those rocks. That is really good. So we see Slowbro come in, and we see Flamethrower come off, that's fine. And we see a Sludge Bomb, crit, unfortunately, and we see a Toxic, big Toxic from Slowbro, and I assume we just teleport out of here. And we see a hard double and a Life Score. Interesting. Okay, interesting. We double in Avalugg, and we see the Meow. Okay, Axel, Helmet, big Chip on Meow. We see another Axel, Helmet, and this is where I was screaming when I was watching this game live. Because we know this thing can be Scarf, and we just go to Beedrill. I was like, Neji, what are we doing? Like, we could have been Slowbro. Like, I was like, this is... I think it was because the damage on Avalugg didn't match up with Scarf, but that was Jolly Scarf. It must have been Adamant Scarf on the Meow Broad in that case. So we see me come out, the Iron Valiant, so we see Booster Speed. So Go for Moonblast, 255, not balanced. You see a bullet. That was 50 even at -1. Dang, balance so frail. Oh my gosh, what the? 50 at -1? That's wild, man. Okay, Flamethrower comes off. We see a Glassboard pivot, and honestly, at this point, the game's over. Well, no, the game still has merit, because Valiant can still win this game easily. Valiant can still win this game easily. But we're gonna put the game in like a bit faster, so we're gonna do fast. So we knock off, Gooey activate, and we see AV gone. So now we go into Prima, and we go into Egg Slash on a Surf. And when we're surfing, we're gone, even after lefties. So that's unfortunate. So we go for we get a double. That barely lets us live, which is great. We go for a toxic, really big toxic, not gonna lie. We see Urshifu come, which is terrible for us. We see a sneak, that's fine. Second sneak on strikes. Okay, so here we have to play the mind game, because it is Terra Electric and it's Thunder Punch. So here we're like, okay, we have to play the mind game of White Score being immune to Thunder Punch, and Slowbro being able to take certain strikes. So, can Don read us, is the thing. So here, we see a Surging Strikes, and here, we go back to Glass Score, and we see a Surging Strikes. Don gets the correct read, and Glass Score goes down, and Urshifu goes down, and then we see Prima come in. This thing is, gonna go Moonblast, knock off Slowbro, and the game is unfortunately over. And I understand the play Neji made, because if webs go out from Bike at the end, the game's cooked. Valiant can no longer win. So, yeah, obviously the reason why this was a stun game is because Beedrill did what it did. Beedrill did not get a kill and just died immediately. I was screaming that, I was like, Neji, this thing's gonna be Scarf. What are we doing? But it was Adamant Scarf, I think. It might have been like a max roll for Jolly, maybe. I do not know. It might have been a max roll for Jolly, maybe. I do not know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Stung section. And now let's move on to Beesant. Welcome to Beesant. We will be going over Beedrill games where he did pretty okay. Maybe got 1 or 2 kills. So this first game is going to be from P. McGee. So, P. McGee is the owner of the CODL, the Code of Larry Draft League, and I saw when I was watching replays that he had a Mega Beedrill with Iron Valiant. So, let's go over some of them. So, Iron Valiant and Beedrill, let us begin. So, the Terras I see is Normal, Vivero, and Fairy, Chandelure, and the Terras on McGee's end is Ground to Golem. Let's see what happens. We're gonna put all these in fast because we got a lot of these ones. So we U-turn into Rotom, and with the blow, okay, we die. We go Valiant, 27, or we Helmet, or the Helmet. I would die to see Helmet Iron Valiant for Urshifu single turn one day. That would be so hilarious, not gonna lie. So we see Urshifu just kill Rotom. We obviously know from turn 1 that's banded Urshifu. So yeah, we just go for Lando, and then we just go for a U-turn. This is also Scarf, good to know. We see Empoleon, and we go for Moonblast, and we see a Earth Power come off. This is a Flash Cannon, Flip Turn, good to know. Okay, we see Flip Turn into Scarf Lando. Unfortunate Rock Slide miss, as it removes the Choice Scarf. Really unfortunate. We go for Rock Slide, removes Oko, W. We see the Golem come in as the Tread spins, and we Terra Ground and I think Earthquake. Iron Defense. Ooh. So we see the Golem Iron Defense and Rock Polishing. This is Mono EQ. Do we just win? Rock Polish. We're +3/+3. Rest. We're Resto Chesto, but what's our attacking move? Body Press. That's unfortunate, because now we just go hard Chandelure and Lando. We let Lando dice the rocks. We see Chandelure, Terra Fairy on the knockoff. Good play. So Flame Charge, and we see they Flame Charge again because Max Speed Beedrill outruns +1 Chandelure. So we see Flamethrower, and we see Golem come in, and we just go for a Body Press, I assume. As we do. Okay, cool. So here we just go into Urshifu on the U-turn, that's fine. On the barrel, versus Beedrill. So we Poison Jab, and we just Oko. Wow. And we see Sucker Punch, knock out Beedrill, and at this point, we know the Urshifu's banded, and Empo just sits in front of it. It's Choice Band, it can't do anything else, and the Urshifu just dies. So yeah, that's a game. Beedrill did pretty decent. It killed the barrel. It did really well. So yeah, we'll see. Beedrill, remove the DNC's lefties, went for U-turn a few times, and then Poison Jab, Oko to the barrel. So yeah. That is the first game from Mickey. So let's go to our second game of Beesant. Okay, so this one's mine, so let me pull up my team real quick. Okay, so we got my team here. So we have Swarm with U-turn, Poison Jab, Roost, and Knockoff. So this Beedrill is really good. We live a E-Speed from D-Knight after Rocks. In the Resonance of Death, I believe we live a Coco hit because of that, which is great. Let me see, Darm, we were bulk up Fling because Slowbro was the water, so +1 Fling kind of just knocked it out. Rock type Arcanine Forever was a good stab. Hydra, this was my best at this game. Taunt, Roost, Draco, Earth Power. So there was an Umbreon and a Mega Venusaur, so I made sure I outspent both and was able to like just beat them down eventually 1v1. Taunting them prevents them from going for Wish and Moonlight and like Synthesis, and I can just spam Earth Power versus them and knock them out. So that's great. Palucha, they had Coco, so I wanted to abuse that terrain as much as I could. So we have Poison Jab for the Coco, Acro, and Drain Punch because I found out in Gen 7, Palucha does not get Brave Bird or Close Combat. It's Force Run, High Jump Kick, and I ain't running that. We have Megazone. This is a Custap berry set. This is Custap, a Megapole because there's Kartana. If we can get our Custap, we Oko with HP Fire. But also the main thing is this, guys. Okay. If I see Cargo for SD, I Endure because I think it's going to be Z Fighting, which can Oko my Mag. So I Endure, I Custap, and then just HP Fire and it dies. And if it just goes for Knockoff, that's fine. I should live a HP Fighting normally, which would put me in Custap. And I believe a +2 Sacred Sword would also put me in Custap. So that's good to know. We have Palisade here. EQ, Rocks, HP Ice, and Shore Up. This was my answer to Dragonite. I was very for Dragonite, so we had HP Ice, which broke multi-scale and always broke sub, and we were able to just do a lot. So yeah, that's team. Let's go into the game. Okay, so this is the game. So we're gonna put this in hyper fast. My voice isn't really doing that great, so I'm trying to do as much as I can. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so we leave Darm and we go for Bulk Up, and then we go for Rock Slide, and then we see Gardevoir come out, we see Snarl, Shore Up, and then we go for another Shore Up. We go Magnezone on the Power 5. We go HP Fire on the cart. We Mega Evolve, we go for Knockoff, Overheat comes off, and then Rock Slide. and then Mission Madness, Drain Punch, we bolt up because we are in terrain, go for Drain Punch, and we go for Acrobatics, we get burned, we Drain Punch again, and then we just go for another Drain Punch. Actually, we're knocked out at this point, that's fine, we Flare Blitz, knock out Mammoth, and then we go everything, and that rocks big because it removes Arcanine and Koga from the game, which is great. So yeah, Umbreon goes down, and Darn goes down, and I go for U-turn, and at this point I'm like, okay, I win the game guaranteed because my Hydra is Taunt Roost, and as long as I just don't bring in hard versus a Leech Seed or a Toxic, we are okay. So yeah, that's the game. I'm sorry, my voice is really not doing good, guys. So I'm trying my best here, gang. Okay, let's see. So unfortunately, I lost this team, but all I remember is my Beedrill set was interesting the whole time. So let's see what happens. So I am Z Lottie and Z Tarak. They are Z Lando, and I think that's the only one they brought. Let's see. Okay, so we let off with Tarakin on the Rabambi. I was like, okay, I just want to lead off because my set was Smackdown Quick Attack. If they go for webs, I can just Smackdown into Quick Attack and Oka Rabambi W. So we go for Smackdown, and here I just go hard Entei on the Leech Seed. So that's great for me at least. I go for a Calm Mind here, which is very nice. We knock off, remove my Shuka, that's fine. Here I just go for a Flamethrower, and we just Oka the Tangrowth, which is great. So we see Lando coming on Flamethrower. I know it's not Scarf, it's Z Super Song Sky Strike, then knocks out Entei. That's good to know. So now we go Beedrill, and we are Facade. They did not bring the Toxapex, and I thought it would come for Beedrill, so I was a SD, Roost, Facade, Drill Run, Beedrill set. It's not the normal, I know. So we have our Shaman in now, and we go for Air Slash. We go go hard Beedrill because I do not got to move, I think. I was very slow, yeah, I was very slow. I was creeping the Rabambi, creeping my Latios. I was creeping, my Beedrill was creeping the Rabambi, creeping the Latios. So we see the Rindo for Solar Beam Zard, and we go to Terrakion, and here I reveal the Quick Attack, we knock out Zard W, and then we go Shaman. And FD is a bit of an issue because we see Flame Charge, and I'm like, okay, my only hope is my Latios because I am max Fizz Death with Reflect. This was, I believe it was here for something, I forgot. Oh, that's right, they had, I was super afraid of a Soul Valley Dark, so I was Toxic, Reflect, Recover on the Latios. So we see Syth Crocodile, and then we just Quick Attack, just to get off some damage, another Quick Attack, a Flame Charge, I'm like, okay, I know your full moveset, SD, Flame Charge, Multi-Attack, and Parting Shot. So I live, and Psychic knocks out the Savali, and Beedrill did pretty decent. Let's go to our next game in Decent, which is Royzer versus Klyze. So, once again, this was a Team Tour game, so we had the same Beedrill team that Neji used in Stung. So, yes, alrighty, so we brought Beedrill. The Terras are Ghost Enamorous and Fairy Chiyu. So, we lead off with Chiyu on the Swampert, and we go into Slowbro on a knockoff. Good play from the opponent. We see a flip turn, and I think we go for Teleport here. Yep, we go hard Beedrill, and we go for a U-turn. Good play from us. We see Helmet, good to know. So we go to Chiyu and force out the fish. Force out the fish with Bullfish. We see Psychic, that is AV Pert, so we EQ, and then we see an unfortunate crit on the fish, I believe it was. No, it was on the egg stuff, yeah. Unfortunately. We see Toxic on a stall, we live. So here we just go for we go into Slowbro, and we go into Jirachi, rocks on Teleport, big Beedrill comes in, and we go for a Swords Dance, and we go for a Drill Run, and just eliminate Quillfish, which is huge. So here, we just go for a U-turn and break Terra Shell and do 36 to the Terapagos, which is insane. King Shield comes off, and we see a Dark Pulse, that's fine. So here we go into Slowbro. I believe we were max Speed Def Slowbro. So now we just go for a Teleport into Valiant, and we see Jirachi coming on a close combat. I believe we were Scarf on the Val, I could be wrong. We see Trop, go for Calm Mind, and we see a really great close combat play from Royzer. Dark Pulse comes off, and Aegislash is gone. Now we see Beedrill come in and just knocks off the Parabola, which is great. We see another knockoff predicting the Terra Ghost, but they knew our full moveset. We cannot touch Enam, so that's fine. So we Moonblast, and Slowbro comes in on Terra Blast, we live, and we Toxic, which is great. Because we actually are very fat fish, like I can see here. 28 and 32, that's nuts. So now we go into the Eagle Pert as they flip turn on Dark Pulse. So we see the Moon go over DD, and that's an issue. That's a big issue, gang. We see Taunt on a Toxic. Ugh. This isn't good. You see EQ. If you went for EQ the first time, man, you would have been knocking this thing out. So we see Slowbro come in on Ironhead. So they have coverage for Val, as they should. So we see Valiant come in, and we go for a Vacuum Leader. I will say we should have went for a hard CC there, because they can risk their Moon. Their Moon's how they win. So I thought we could have CC'd on the Jirachi. But here we have the Moon and the Jirachi CC, and it wouldn't matter anyways, because Ironhead knocks us out. And that's the game. We unfortunately taken out in this one, but it's fine. So a lot of them could have done better, but Beedrill did great, not gonna lie. Beedrill was able to knock out the Quillfish, break Terra Shell, and knock out the Terapagos, and get a big knockoff, removing the Lumberry, so Slowbro and Toxic. So Beedrill did really good this game, not gonna lie. Now, let's go to our next game, which is McGee versus Black 117. Okay, so let's do a bit faster. So Cramorant lead on Arrow, double, U-turn on Crit, big crit, Helmet Lottie, Psychic, are we going for U-turn, Scarf Star, good to know. More Helmet, we see Tinglu, U-turn. We're just spamming U-turn at this point, gang. Okay, rocks go up, we go for Defog, we cannot because of good as gold. We see Guz come in on a Focus Blast, unfortunate miss. We see a knockoff, removing the helmet on Tinglu. So there's multiple helmets, which is crazy, not gonna lie. Steamroller, triple helmet for Beedrill. That's kind of crazy, not gonna lie. We see Surf, Golden Missile activates, we go for another Surf, and then we see T-Wave, which is fine. We Surf, we see Recover, and then we go for another Surf. And we see a Hex, Golden Missile activates, throws Aerocuda at Golden Go, and we see another Surf, and we now have, and we are now gorging, and we throw the Pikachu at Golden Go, and now it's paralyzed, which is great. So now we see recover, and I assume we go for a U-turn here. Power Whip. That also makes a lot of sense, you're not gonna lie. Oh, we're Terrafire Entei. Oh, this is dead, good night. Okay. Good to know, did not know that. Okay, cool. Now see Golden Go come in, and we see Aerokuda. We throw Aerokuda at the Golden Go, and we go for, we're unfortunately paralyzed. We go for a Surf, and we get back Pikachu. Now we throw Pikachu, and we get knocked out, unfortunately, unfortunate Cramorant. Here, we see a Pursuit from the Beedrill. We're over Dango. Whoa, okay. And then we see big chip on the Keldeo, and we knock out the Keldeo, but Beedrill also gets knocked out by Helmet. So good job, Beedrill. You were able to pursue trap the Dango and poison jab the Keldeo and knock it out. That's a big miss from Landorus, because Iron Tail was pretty free, it looked like. And here, unfortunately, I think we see it here. Yeah, for booster attack, we should have booster speed, I think. I think we would have won if we were booster speed, but they said it was an error, so, or they messed it up. So, he doesn't even kill, and Arrow was done to CC at this point, if I'm correct. So that's unfortunate. They said they messed with the booster, so that's unfortunate for Mickey. But yeah, that was honestly just a problem with the, with just the Mon, like a problem with the set. So that's not Beedrill's fault. Beedrill did great, not gonna lie. So that game was honestly just an issue with the set. If the Valiant was booster speed, Beedrill game would have been great. It would have won, but unfortunately, no win. But Beedrill did great work. Beedrill was able to pursue trap the Dango, keeping it in place and keeping it low. Keldeo it knocked out in return of itself because of Rocky Helmet. And yeah, that was a good game from Beedrill. So yeah, we have 4 more games of Beascent, and let's see what happens in the last 4. So this is another one of my games. This was week 1 of Boomers Association, once again ran by Nash. So we see U-turn, Poison Jab, knockoff, Drill Run B. Had a pretty good game here. I saw Mega Mawile and Skarmory, so obviously Magnezone came. We guarantee outsped a Admiral's Mega Mawile with Magnezone, and we lived a +2 Sucker with Magnezone from full. So that was great, because Oko was on a bolt. We have our Serena with Scarf. It looked pretty decent here. I was able to just get off damage, and like Seed Bomb Player Off, usually looked great here. We have Ramantan, which was banded. We were banded Encore for the Cresselia. I was pretty afraid of Cresselia this game, being like CM, so we were banded Encore. Our next mon was our Lefty's Necrozma with Sub CM Photon Heat Wave. This thing looked really good this game. And then our last mon was, once again, another Encore for Marina, because I was afraid of that Cresselia. We were Encore and Toxic for the Cresselia, and yeah. Let's go into the game. So, here's the game. So, we have me versus Fossil. So, my lead here is just a Swarm. I lived anything except like a Scarf Noivern hit, so I just swapped out because it was Scarf. So, I just swapped out. I went for Toxic, big Toxic on the Cresselia, and now I see a Side Shot come off, and I go for an Encore. So, here I just go into, I think, my Necrozma hard. As I do, yeah, okay. So, we see a Bug Buzz. That's fine. I live. I go for Heat Wave. Oko. Big for me. I was super afraid of Webs this game, but I wanted that Galv gone. Press comes in, so we go for Photon, do no damage, and here I just go for a Substitute. It cannot Toxic, which is great for me. Here, I just go for a Calm Mind. They unfortunately missed, but fun fact, Photon goes through the skies. Fun fact, if you didn't know, Photon goes through the skies because it ignores abilities. So that's awesome. We see Lanoon. I was super afraid of this mon. That's actually the main reason why I had Scarf Serena with Fleeting Majesty for the Lanoon. That thing was a big issue for the team, so I had to bring that. We see Necrozma, we go for Photon, and we do a good amount, and then we steal mines too, so we go for Draco, and I live somehow. I just go for Photon, and Noivern is gone. So at this point, I'm like, okay, Keldeo, knocks on Necrozma, that's fine, I can just go Serena. I go for a U-turn into the perfect opportunity to go into our Mega Beedrill and go for U-turn, knocking out Cresselia, and I just go into Marina, and I just go for Moonblast. Crit HP did a good amount, but Moonblast just kills. And that's a game for Fossil Hammer, and let's go to our one of our last games. We have 3 more, so stay tuned, we have 3 more. Alrighty, so this game I found on Showdown, so let's see what happens. I honestly forgot what happened. So we see a Lando versus Scizor, we see a Rock on a knockoff, so we remove the helmet, so we're pads on Scizor, good to know. So we Earth Power, and we go Hard Superior on a Earth Power. So that's fine. So here we see Aegislash, we go for Glare, Leech, that's good to know. We see a Leech, we go into Volcanion here, on the Talonflame, we go for U-turn, and we go into the Samurott on a big Steam Eruption, no burn. Wisp unfortunately misses, so now we go for a Steam Eruption, big Steam Eruption, and we knock out the Landorus. We knock out the Landorus, so here we see a big Fire Blast, and Volcanion's just going crazy at this point. We see Aggron, we're Balloon, we're not even Mega Aggron, okay. Aggron goes down, Samurott comes in, we see Steam Eruption. Unfortunately, we see a Ceaseless Edge miss, that's tough. Now we see another Ceaseless. So we see Landorus come in, that's fine, and we see a Ceaseless, and at this point, it's looking like B-Food. We go for Rocks, and as we see a Flip Turn, we see Clefable come in, and we go for a U-turn, and this is a free Beedrill. Nah, I go Starmie, that makes sense. Okay, fair. Do let Starmie die. We let Starmie die, remove the spikes in the rock, now we go Beedrill, and now we win with Swords Dance. We Poison Jab, and we knock off. No Flame Body, that's awesome. So now we have Beedrill, we see Sucker, does not kill, and we see Poison Jab, and then one more Poison Jab should finish off the game. And that is the power of Mega Beedrill. Volcanion and Mega Beedrill just beat each other's checks, and the game was over. So, this is one of the final 2 games of Mega Beedrill for Beascent. We still have Unfortunate and Unbelievable that we will get to. So, let's continue. So, this was if I remember right, a DPL game. So, let's see what happens. Alright, so, we see Hydra on Chompleed, we see a Draco into the Yancy, we see a Flash Cannon on a Rock. So, we see Empoleon come in now on a Moonblast. Good to know. We remove the Rocks and go Torn on the Zera, and we stay in because we are Z-move, I believe, and then we go Beedrill on the Quillfish. We go for U-turn into the Hydreigon, and just big damage. Tangrowth comes in and takes like no damage, and then we see Rock Tomb, which is a good brain. We see U-turn, Rough Skin, we see Hydra come in, and then we see DNC. That's an offensive, that's an aggressive DNC play, and then we see Flash Cannon knock down the rock. We see Flamethrower come off, Brick Break, big damage, and then we see Draco, and it does a good amount. And then we see the Quillfish come in, and Draco just barely does not take it out. So here we go for Liquidate. We see Liquidation, and we go for a Defog, removing the rocks for Beedrill. So unfortunately, Empoleon's going to live barely and do so much to Garchomp. We see U-turn on the Hydra, and then we see Flamethrower, knocking out the Tangrowth. So now we see Zero, knock out the Hydra, and it was Sash, so I was right, okay. So we see U-turn, knock out the Garchomp, which is good to know. So now Downpan comes in, we see U-turn into the Quillfish on a Fire Fang, okay. That's scary for the opponent. We see Grass Knot, and then we see Beedrill come in, we go for U-turn into, I assume Torn. Yep, Torn comes in. It is a Heat Wave, this is a Supersonic Sky Strike, and Zero takes so much damage. We see Empoleon die to that, to the rocks. We see B come in, we go for U-turn, and we see Tornadus come in, and we just go for a Heat Wave into another Heat Wave. So as you guys saw, Beedrill kept up the momentum that game versus like the Quillfish, the Garchomp, and the Zero Aura, because Beedrill always outrun Zero Aura, so that's awesome. So yeah, that was that game, and let's go to our final game that I personally saved for last in this section. So this game I saved for last, I saw this game, I was like, oh my gosh, this time crazy, not gonna lie. So we see Lead Arm on Lee Shot, we see his lefties, and we see a Strength Sap. We see Teleport Executor on a Toxic Spike Beedrill. That's really good for them. And then we see a U-turn, and we see no ground poison, so those T-Spikes are going to be a detrimental part of this game. So we see that Mountain's Helmet, and we go for an Earthquake, and then we see a Teleport once again into Mega Beedrill. We go for a big drill run, 25. Not the great, but it's fine. So now we see a U-turn, 57. That's nuts, not gonna lie. So now we see Archeop knocks out because of the crit, but I don't think the crit really matter that much. I don't think the crits really matter that much. Now we see Wish on Steel, Protect. So now this Knock Sponge is now Incinerate track, and this thing might just wall their entire team. We see Sylveon Baton Pass into Big Beedrill, and we go for a U-turn, and we take more Helmet, which is fine. So now we see Cinshaw, and see, this is big because now, because of that T-Spike, when they Terra, it now died, because if the T-Spike was not there, the Darm would not have been able to knock out the Cinshaw, which would have allowed the Cinshaw to be very annoying, because this entire team is physical, so the Cinshaw would have just been able to wall the entire team, outside of Executor, I guess. So we see Darm coming in on the Mount, and we see Banded Flare Blitz, I think it's Banded or Scarf, I don't know. But Flare Blitz spells like 70% of the Mount, which is great. We see a U-turn, knock out Low Kicks, we go into Beedrill, and we see Quick Attack Cinderace, unfortunately, knocking out Beedrill, but we go for Earthquake, and the Mount dies, we see Sylveon, Earthquake, but Beedrill gets the kill from the grave, I think. Yeah, Beedrill gets the kill from the grave because of the T-Spike, and Archeops goes down from Low Kick, and then Doxman comes in and just revenges and goes for Play Rough. So yeah, T-Spike was really good that game because it was able to knock out the Sylveon. It put the Gastrodon in range of EQ from crits on Archeops. I really don't think the crit mattered, because even if it did, you just go for another Earthquake and then you're fine. And then, like I said before, the Cinshaw. The Cinshaw one was big because that one, the Cinshaw was able to Strength Sap if it wasn't at that percentage, but Darm may add that percentage because of the T-Spike. So shout out Mega Beedrill, and that's it for Beecent, and let's go into Unfortunate Bee. Welcome to Unfortunate Bee. These replays are where Beedrill encounters some hacks that allows him to fall just short. So, this first game is Sin versus Lamau. Sin took over the Usum team in the team tour when I was packing and moving to college. So, they have also sent me their team, so we will go over it right now. Starting off, we have Mew with the Munium Z with Psychic, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Nasty Plot. So, for those that do not know, Psychic becomes Genesis Supernova with the Z move, which sets Psychic Terrain on the field. The next set is the Infernate, which is Overheat, HP Ice, Fire Blast, and Focus Blast. I assume HP Ice is for the Zygarde. Next set is the Steelix with Earth Power, Stealth Rock, Toxic, Explosion, and we might have missed a few EV Sin. Okay, that happens. Okay. The next set was Togekiss with the Eye of Papa Berry, with Flamethrower, D-Gleam, Reflect, and Roost. I assume the Reflect helped you take on Zero Aura better, which makes a lot of sense. After that, the set after that was... After that, we had a Sovali Steel with Multi-Attack, Flamethrower, Toxic, and Defog, which makes a lot of sense. You want to keep rocks off for Beedrill to do work. And then the last mon is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mega Beedrill, with Adamant Nature, with We Are Very Slow, but We Are Very Fat, with X-Scissor, U-Turn, Swords Dance, and Roost. This set might be able to work because they said this is the worst Mega Beedrill matchup they have ever encountered. So, let's see what happens, gang. So, we are here in the game, so let's play. Okay, so we see Togekiss lead on versus Mega Scizor, so we see Flamethrower come off, and we see a Steelix come in on a rock, we see a Psychic, and we see a rock from Steelix, good to know, so we see another Psychic, Toxic comes off, and then we go for U-turn into Zygarde. So that's a bit scary, but Toxic, good play Sin. So here we go, Togekiss, and we 1,000 arrows, and we're just out of Eye of Papa range, which is so unfortunate. Mew comes out, and we see Mandibuzz come in on an Ice Beam, good play. So here we go into Sovali, and we go for a Roost. And here, I think we double Steelix on a U-turn into Zygarde. Okay. So do we go into Sovali here? We go Steelix. Okay. We just stay and we go Explode. That makes sense. Okay. So here we see Uxie versus Infernape. We see, okay, we just go Sovali on a T-Wave. Okay, not the greatest. So we see Psychic. We see a Toxic. Trying to catch a switch. Unfortunate. It does not pay off. We see Psychic. Flamethrower comes off. And we see Psychic again. And we go for Toxic. Unfortunately, it does not work. So we see Zero come in on a sub. And unfortunately, we get paralyzed, which is very tough. So we go Beedrill here. We see a Bulk Up. So, and the fact that our Beedrill is faster than Zera means that Zera is very fat, and it also means that Sin is the GOAT. It also means that Sin is the GOAT at EVs. So we see a Genesis Supernova here from the Mew, and we see a Plasma Fist, and Mew gets crit. For those that don't know, that probably kills because Psychic Terrain in Gen 7 is absolutely dumb, so that probably just knocks out their aura, and then we're in a good position. This was the team that I had, so I brought a SD, U-Turn, Poison Jab, and Jordblast Beedrill. I saw that if I got this thing in endgame, I was able to just destroy. A Spiritomb. This was our Mega Delayed answer. Mega Delayed was an issue, so we ran this Spiritomb set. Pursued, Pain Split, Shadow Ball, Foul Play. It beats Bulk Up, and yeah, so that's about Spiritomb. So Rotom, we were max Def, a Guav with Protect because I was very nervous of Bloom, Doom, Greninja. So we were Protect for that, and then we could take whatever wants to go for. A Guav, Fairy Procs, we heal a lot of HP back, which is great. A Mew, this was our guaranteed lead. We were Magic Coat for the Shuckle. I was very afraid of Shuckle this game, so we ran Magic Coat on the Mew. Could I have ran Defog? Yes, but there was one reason why I couldn't, and I will get to that in a few seconds. So we're Psychic, Roost, and Earth Power as our last moves. This is also going to take on Neoking pretty well. Infernape. So we are Fizz Def with Rocks, Flamethrower, Low Kick, and Slack Off. So why am I this set? This actually took on Tapu Bulu, which is crazy to me. Fizz Def Infernape took on Tapu Bulu, which was honestly a pretty big issue for our team. And then we had Steelix with Toxic, Tantrum, Heavy Stem Rocks. So the reason why this is important is because of this. We need Rocks badly, because all we need is Zapdos to take one Rock Chip, and it's in range of +2 Beedrill. So we need Beedrill to take Rocks. We need the Zapdos. The Rocks here are very important, because all I need is Zapdos to take one Rock hit, and it's in range of a +2 Beedrill. So as long as I get up one Rock, and I can take away some chip from Zapdos, because there are no boots in this generation, Gen 7, so Zapdos guarantee takes 25 on entry if it comes in on Rocks, which is very good for us. Alrighty, let's start the battle. We have our team here, so yep, let us begin. So I see Shuckle, I'm like, okay, I prep for this, I can just lead Mew. So what do? I lead with my Mew on the Delayed, and I just go hard Spiritomb, and we see a Toxic, which makes sense, and we see I go for Pursuit, and here I'm like, uh-oh, I wish I was Taunt Spiritomb, but we go Mew, we get Web, there go up, and that's not good, so we see Encore, Magic Coat comes off, Remove, Knockoff comes off, I go hard Steelix, just want to get up the one Rock I need this game, or Toxic, that also works. I was maybe trying to Zapdos could come in, but I just go for Rocks here. No, I go for Heavy Slam. Big damage there. Infernape comes in, and I see a sub. I'm like, okay. I don't honestly need Infernape because, like I said before, the blue isn't here, so Infernape is useless. So the Earth Power and Shadow Ball is good chunk, and not Neoking. So our Mega Delayed is basically dead, which is not good. Our Mega Delayed is basically dead, which is not good at all. So we go Rotom, and we go for a Default. We want to remove these webs, because these webs are so annoying for our team. We go for Volt Switch, and we see Beedrill coming, which is great. Here, I just go for a U-turn, I think. Yep, I do. And we see it's butted, which is good to know. We go for a U-turn, but in this gen, Heatran cannot have Flame Body, which is awesome. So I just go for U-turn, and then go for Earth Power on the Heatran. And I just go for another Earth Power. We get an okay crit, but look at that! A crit! A Raw Psychic! That's 21 and 20! 20! At that point, I was like, okay, this is literally max HP, max speed def, careful delayed. What is this? So I'm like, okay, and then I see Rest. I'm like, what is happening, man? So I see Rest. I'm like, what is going on? And then I see one move, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Okay, so, can anyone tell me what this set is? If you said Beedrill food, that is correct. Because it is Toxic, Rest, Talk, Drain Punch. Huh? Beedrill, this, and at this point, I'm okay, perfect. This is perfect. This is my SD opportunity with Beedrill for the future. So I want to keep Delayed alive, so I can get up my SD opportunity very soon. So, we go into Steelix, and we see they go for Sleep Talk on top, but that's fine. So I'm okay, I just want to get Rocks, and I just want to get some damage on Zapdos. Some damage, Toxic, big, that's a big Toxic. Because Steelix goes down, that's fine, honestly. Zapdos comes in, Rotom comes in, and we go for U-turn, and Shuckle comes in, and I believe we go for a Volunteer. Yep, we go for a Volunteer into our Mew, and I think I just go for a Psychic, and I do. And Shuckle goes down. Now we see Gren come in, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let Mew go down. I'm gonna go into my Rotom. Now, what I should have done here, I should have went for a Default, at least. I should have went for a Default. Okay, Hard knocks him out. Now here, I really should have went for a Default here. I should have went for a Default here, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I should have went for a Default somewhere. If I went for a Default, that was perfect in my opinion. Because B comes in, we're in with B. We go for a Swords Dance, huge by the way. Over Poison Jab, and knowing my luck, it would happen. I get staticked, and knowing my luck, they say there's Scarf. But fun fact, actually, I live that Surf. I actually live Surf. I actually live Surf if Rocks aren't up, which is dumb. Man, if only I went for Defog versus the Delayed with Rotom, I would be able to then go for Volt Switch and then get a free SD with Beedrill. Man, oh! So, obviously, I made a big misplay there, but my gosh, did Beedrill do work? Beedrill almost was in a position to just win very, very quickly. So Beedrill almost won immediately, but if I just don't get paralyzed there, Beedrill wins. And even if I do get paralyzed there, Beedrill wins with its set, because the Delayed was Toxic, and Drain Punch. Drain Punch is ×4 resisted by Beedrill. I most likely would live, so that's so unfortunate at the end, man. Oh well, at the end of the day, that's Mons. So yeah, okay, so we're going to lead off with Malum on a Gal. Okay, so we get a web, very nice. So double Iron Bash comes off. 100% choice banned, by the way. 100% banned, by the way. We see a Wisp come up on the Flygon. That's good. So here we go into Screamtail, and we see a rock. Okay, good to know. So here we go into our Neo Queen, and we see a rock from Screamtail. Now we go into Moltres and go for a Wisp. I'm going to space up a little bit. So we go Rotom on a Defog. So we remove the web. So no more webs for the entire game, which is unfortunate, not going to lie. Scream comes in on a Rock Slide, and we see Moltres on T-Wave. Good to know. So here we go Melm on a Wish. And we go for Rocks. Rock Slide comes off, and we just get off the Wish. Here we go Moltres on T-Wave. That's fair. Rotom comes in on a Defog. So I go for Overheat here, and they do go for Overheat. That's good. So now we see Screamtail on U-turn into Melm, and we just go for Choice Band, Double Iron Bash, and we just nuke anything in sight. Here we go to Rotom on the Flygon, we Overheat, and this is that deck, so Flygon has Ruse. Yep, okay. Here we go Draco, we knock out Flygon. Good to know. Goodbye, Flygon. So Melm comes in on the Rotom, we Rock Slide, and we just die, and then we go Zapdos. Now, this is the luckiest Zapdos in the world, by the way. 1, close combat. 2, U-turns. Okay, 2. Draco's a tiny bit more shit. We need a tiny bit more shit on that guy. Body goes down, Zapdos comes in. 3. This is 3, by the way. 3. 4. That's 4. See a full para. 5. That was Flame Body. Please, somebody in the comments, do the math. What is the chance of not getting burned by Flame Body 5 times? Because we saw this thing was Life Orb. What is the chance of not getting burned by Flame Body 5 times? It's a 30% chance. I would love to know the math on that in the comments. Thank you. Alrighty. This is the luckiest Zapdos in the world, by the way. But also, looking at this, Beedrill should have a field day, right? I agree. He should have a field day very soon. Darkrai comes off, knocks out Zapdos. But we see it's Life Orb, not Choice Scarf. And we try to go for the Fell Stinger, but it's too healthy, and we dodge a Rock Slide, and we get a min-max. Huge. So Melm comes in, and we are just too short. Oh, we're just too short. We are a tiny bit short. If we got a little bit more damage on the Melm, Beedrill won. Like 1 spike or a couple, 2, I think like 3 rock hits would have put, no, 2 rock hits would have put Melm in range. Oh, just short. Because Poison Jab or Fell Stinger into another on Darkrai and Ogre would just win the game. But also, we need to keep in mind, Darkrai could have Sucker, which would obviously just knock out Beedrill. So, unfortunate game. But yeah, 2 more of these ones, and then we will go into the best games that we have. Lupus, Fluvium versus Leader Avalugg. Okay, so we see a Lead Beedrill and Kangaskhan. Now, we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Okay, first off, what are we doing? Gang, what are we doing? That's probably why I threw it in here. What are we doing, gang? Crit Fake Out into another. We got flinched. What are we doing? Oh, bro. What are we doing? I think I now know why we put this in here. A lot of reasons, and I have 2 of them. 1, where is the Sucker Punch? My guy, where is the Sucker Punch? That's fine. Okay, we get Rock, that's fine. So we go for Wisp, and we get up a Toxic. Gotcha. Okay, so here, Espeon hard, no Jolteon, that's fine. We got the Web. Pretty annoying. If we can remove that with Star, that'd be great. But unlikely because there's Shiny Lure. So we see Rocks go up, and we actually do get off a spin. Who would have thought? We actually got up a spin. Who would have thought? So we see an Infestation. We go for Power Whip. We unfortunately do miss, and we get up a Toxic. Gotcha. Okay, so here we go for a Power Whip on the Torn. And just saying that there was no preview, so I'll talk about them later. Okay, might be here. Dark Pulse comes up. Okay, interesting. There we go. Okay, I can talk about it. I almost didn't put this replay here at all because what are we doing, gang? Terratorn T with no preview? Huh? What are we talking about? This thing's broken. What are we talking about, gang? Okay, maybe it was like a 3-type thing that they knew. I don't know, but what are we doing? Terratorn T, no preview? Huh? Anyway, that was a very questionable thing I saw when I saw this replay. So we see a Volt, that's fine. So Espeon comes in, and we see a T-Wave. We miss, and we see Dark Pulse do so much to the Espeon. Oh my gosh, and we see Darkrai come in, and we see Dark Pulse, and Corsola comes in, and we see a U-turn. Okay, so now we see the Shiny Lure come in, and I'm like, okay, this is trouble. Fire Blast, 44, X does 49, and then we see another Fire Blast, and we just die. And then, here's what makes no sense. Okay, I'll just say this. A couple turns ago, Espeon outsped Torn T. But now, Espeon is slower than Chandelure. What are we doing, gang? Like, I didn't see that wrong, did I? The T-Wave? Torn came in, turn 12, Espeon clicked T-Wave, and it missed. What are we doing, gang? How is Espeon outspeeding Torn T, but Scarf should... what? Are we like no speed Torn? What's going on, gang? Okay, honestly, no speed Torn makes some sense. I don't know. But yeah, we see Chandelure, Fire Blast, Miss, Darkrai, and we see Dark Pulse come off, and then we see Valley come in, and here, it's another reason. Okay, Star comes in, Moonblast, that's fine. Moonblast comes off, perfectly fine. We see Beedrill come in, and we see a Vacuum. No Vacuum, we see Kangaskhan come in, and Poison Jab comes off, and Beedrill just kills Kangaskhan. Then they go Tornadus, we see their boots, and they just die to U-turn. Now we go Jolteon on Terra Flying, and the Valiant is faster than Jolteon. What are we talking about, gang? The Valiant is faster than the Jolteon, but then the Beedrill was enough to be Vaporeon. So the Valiant's faster, so I'm like, okay, is the Valiant Scarf? Is the Valiant Scarf Moonblast? Does that just win the game? But here, I'm like, wait, what? The Beedrill outsped the Valiant, but the Valiant outsped the Jolteon. So many weird speeds this game. What is going on? And also, I now know why I put this game in Unfortunate B. This was kind of scuffed, because A, the turn 1 was questionable, but also, Kangaskhan can have Sucker, B, Terratorn no preview, kinda sus, and 3, where was the Vacuum Wave Iron Valiant? What are we talking about, gang? Oh my gosh. If it was Vacuum Wave, Beedrill was gone. What are we talking about, gang? This was one of the most questionable games I've ever seen in my life. So now let's go into the final unfortunate B game. BEEAUTIFUL versus FP Flygons. Okay. This, I believe, was another CLDL game that was in a lower division. Same league as the McGee games, but a lower division. So, so we see the Terras, Water Breloom, and Electric Virizion. Okay. So it's some lower Terra. Gotcha. Okay, so we see Beedrill come in. We see Beedrill lead on Breloom. We see a U-turn. Big hit. So now we see a Rock Tomb on the Virizion, and we see a close combat. Mesprit. Special. Gotcha. Okay, so we see Samurai come in on a Flare Off. We see 55% come off. And now we see Togekiss come in on an Aloe. And we see a Thunder Wave come off. And we see a Flip Turn. And here, we see Iron Treads. And this Treads, I'm just saying it now. I think I know what this is. Yeah, okay. This is banded. This is Choice Band Tread. I'm not gonna use Choice Band Tread. We see Tusk come in. We see Mesprit come in on Earthquake. That makes sense. So now we see Togekiss on a Power Punch. Interesting. Okay. So we see Treads come in on a Thunder Wave, and we see a Tusk come in. And look at this. Ironhead. 39 to Tusk. Yeah, that is 100% Choice Band Treads. What the heck? We see close combat from the Tusk. That's fine. So here we now see the Togekiss come in, and that's fine. So we see Zen, which is perfectly fine. We see Treads come out on a Roost, and this is just free Ironhead. Isn't it? Ironhead. 42. Yeah, this is Choice Band. Oh my gosh. 3K own Tusk is wild. What? We see Terra Electric. I mean, Calm Mind. Okay, are we Terra Blast? Calm Mind again. Okay. Hold the phone. Zen comes off. Giga Drain. Okay. Zen comes off. Okay. So we see we're in a pretty bad spot. Zen comes off. Giga Drain comes off. That's fine. Okay, cool. So here we see the Dragon Ball come in. Okay. And our Virizion does go down, but we know this. We know that they probably know that thing was specs, and we just put that in Beedrill. So honestly, that's kind of crazy. So Big Crunch Treads. Londos comes in. Ironhead is 89. Jeez, Ironhead is strong. What the heck? I thought about that. It's insane with Choice Band. What are we talking about, man? Flip turns, Iron Treads comes back in. Ironhead does 88. Oh my gosh. And we see Beedrill come in, Drill Run, and we're just short on Beedrill dies. Okay, yeah, this game. That's unfortunate game, because not gonna lie, I think B could have won that, because if we could Poison Jab the Pidgeot, we're in a good position. Aloe and Breloom. Aloe's at 86. It could maybe Scalper or something like that, and Breloom is super low, so we just be able to just Poison Jab it. It can't Mach Punch, 2 times 4 resist. So yeah, I think if Beedrill got that roll, or maybe crit the Tread, because Drill Run is a high crit move, he would have been in an amazing position. So unfortunate for Beedrill, and so those are all the games I found that Beedrill got a tiny bit unlucky. Now, let's go into the unbelievable category, where these are the greatest Mega Beedrill games I have found or experienced. Welcome to the unbelievable games. This first one will be my motivation for this entire video. So let's begin with the one that started everything. So our team is here. So we have a Normalium Z Reflect type Mew with Earth Power, Dark Pulse, and Roost. The idea was we Reflect type with Z, get a +1 special attack boost, and become the same type as Drapion, because I would resist both stabs, and I'd be able to do a lot of damage with Earth Power, and Dark and Poison is a really good typing this game. Rotom. Xrd. This is our main Charizard X answer. Charizard X was a big issue for our team, so I had to find a way to deal with it. That mon gave me so many nightmares. That mon was such an issue this game. So we have Foul Play for the Charizard, and then if that didn't work, we have Scarf Infernape with Encore to lock into Dragon Dance. We also have U-Turn, CC, and Flare Blitz for good attacks this game. Basically, our next mon was a Spadef Steelix, Stealth Rock, Crunch, EQ, Magnerize. Magnerize was there in case of the Diggersby and was like Agility SD. We could Magnerize on it and then keep attacking it and see what happens. Citrus was there for Guardian of Alola Coco. I was pretty afraid of that set. I went Citrus over Alpapa because I was unsure if they would put me at 75% exactly. And if they put me 1 over, then Steelix just goes down to an HP Fire or something like that. So that would have been great. So that's why we went Citrus. Our next one is our lead this game. We lead Specs PZ, Try Attack, and kill something. That's basically it. We just kill something. GG. And then our last mon, the Go Mega Beedrill, we are U-Turn, Poison Jab. We are U-Turn, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and Felstinger with Max Attack, enough speed for Max Speed, Coco, and put the rest in Bolt. Alrighty, let's go to the game that started everything. So, me on the DONBOZOS versus Ags on the Drunk Drivers, I believe. Yep, okay. We lead off with our Porygon Z on a Charizard X, and we see a Roost on a Try Attack, and I saw this was Max HP, Max Spadef. We were really bulky PZ, so it outsped me. It was Max HP, Max Spadef Zard, because that Try Attack always O-code. And how much to do the Zard? 64. So we knew that was fat on the Zard. So here, they went for Rocks with the Pert. We go for Wisp and Miss. So here I go hard Beedrill on a sub. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can just go for a U-turn here and be, okay. I go for U-turn into Infernape, and we go for a Glare. Now, Glare comes off, and I go for a U-turn here on the Coco. Do I get off? I do. And here, I just go into the Steelix, and I go for an Earthquake here. But I am Crunch with Sheer Force, specifically for this Bronzong. So we get off a good hit on it. So it comes off, we eat our Citrus, and now we see, I go for another Crunch, do an okay amount of damage. Now I go into Rotom here, and here, I'm like, screw it. I got burned, I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna go hard Mega Beedrill on the hard Superior, and it pays off, and here, I'm like, okay, let me go for Felstinger, see what happens. We see the Bronzong sack, and Mega Beedrill gets +3 attack. Now I'm like, okay, what do we see here? Okay, so Perk comes in, take 70, I take some Helmet, and then I take one more Helmet, and I am on 1 HP exactly. And I go for Felstinger, no Helmet, and at this point, I'm like, does Mega Beedrill just win? And the answer is yes. Mega Beedrill wins 6-0 and claims 6 kills, which is crazy. So that was the game that started everything. So that game was my greatest Mega Beedrill game, in my opinion. So let's go over all the other amazing Beedrill games that I have collected for you guys here today. This one here is a DPL game that Sin sent me. So we see Hacker versus Devin, and we see a Beedrill. So let's see what happens with Beedrill this game. We see a lead Beedrill. We Mega and go for knockoff, removing the partial berry for Rotom. That is huge. We see a U-turn come off in a Scrafty. So that's great. Scrafty comes in, that's fine. So we now see a Feeny come in, and we go for a knockoff, removing the Ayapapa berry. That's huge, not gonna lie. So we go into Beedrill here on the CM. That's really aggressive and awesome. You're supposed to play Beedrill offensively. So we see a U-turn. On the Skarmory, and we see Gallade come in on a Magma Storm, taking 50, which is insane and really good damage. So we see Comfey come in, and I assume it's a Mega. It's a Mega Gallade. That's fine. So are we Helmet? We are Helmet Comfey. Good to know. So here, I assume we go for a U-turn here. For Sin. That also works. So we see a Calm Mind. We go for a U-turn. We see a U-turn back into Mega Beedrill. And what do we go for here? U-turn? Nah. We go for Roost. And here it comes back up, which is insane. Now we go into Rotom on a Spike. That's fine. We can just defog, right? We defog. Yep. Alrighty. So now, we can go for Pump. It's free, ain't it? Pump on a Rock. That's fine. We can just defog right now. We defog on the Taunt, so it's a fast Feeny. Gotcha. Okay. We see Moonblast. That's fine. We volt into the GOAT Mega Beedrill. Press the Beedrill button. We go for a Roost. We see Surf. 36. 36. That's dumb. We go for Roost. We go for Knockoff. And then we go for Roost. We remove the helmet, and we get a full Beedrill. We get a full HP Beedrill for free, which is awesome. We go back in Rotom. Now, personally, here, I go for a Volt here. And we see a Defog. That's honestly better. We see Defog. Now, here, I Volt, and we see 1% Feeny. We go back into Beedrill, and now this thing's helmet is gone thanks to Beedrill's knockoff. So now, we go into Heatran. Yeah, Rock, which is great. We see Comfey come in on the Gallade, and now Gallade dies to Rocks. So that's awesome. W. So here, we go for a Draining Kiss. That's fine. No helmet because of Beedrill, so that's great. We go into the Heatran. We go for a Roost, and here, I just go for Magma Storm here, in my opinion. And we see it, and we fail. That's fine. So now we see Sceptile come in. We see a Scrafty come in. Are we Sword Stance? Or Earthquake? Okay. So we're Physical Sceptile. Good to know. Okay, cool. So Skarm comes in. Super thing misses, unfortunately. But we see Heatran come in, and that's honestly free because, Skarmory does not Body Press. It's Gen 7. So Sceptile comes in, and we see Landorus on the swords there. It's good to know. Okay. So we just Z-Lando and Continental Crush, and we just OHKO Sceptile. Wow. Okay. Skarm comes in. That's fine. We just go into Heatran here, and spikes go up, and we just go for another Magma Storm, removing the Skarmory, and then the last summon is a Thundersterian, and at this point, I just go for Magma Storm, and that was a clean 6-0 win from Hacker. And that was a clean 6-0 win from Hacker. So, things to note. So, Beedrill did amazing this game. Beedrill removed the Partial Berry from Nidoqueen. Beedrill also removed the Rocky Helmet from Skarmory. Beedrill also forced so much pressure on the Tapu Fini, and was able to roost up and gain its health consistently. That is the true power of Mega Beedrill. Now, let's go into another DPL game, which is Skyho versus Bobbert. So, we see the team. It looks familiar. The Skarmory, the Gallade, the Thundy, the Feeny, and the Nidoqueen. Whoa, wonder what happened. Are they both playing the same team? Who knows? Actually, no. These are two different teams, but they have so many similar bonds. Feeny, Thundy, like a Gallade, Skarmory, Queen. What's the coincidence? Hello? Anyway, Beedrill is here once again. Our friend Beedrill. This was actually one of the teams we did before. It was the one with the Sash Hydra. That was in Decent. It's the same team, I think. Same team, but just they bring Pokémon stuff, and they brought Bulu instead. Same thing, it's like a team tour. You draft 8 mons. So these are these are 6 of 8 they have. So, we see a lead Beedrill versus a Thundersterian. We Mega Evolve, and we go for a knockoff, removing an Ayapapa Berry, and we Volt Switch, and we take 32! What is this? Oh my gosh! We remove another Ayapapa Berry on a Rock! We go for another knockoff, Earth Power, 29! 29! No! 29! 29 from an Earth Power from Nidoqueen? What is this? We've seen Zerga come in, that's fine. We've seen HP Ice. We see a sub HP Ice. Sub HP Ice? Yep, okay, it's definitely HP Ice, because Thundy and Nidoqueen. Yep, okay. So HP Ice comes off, and Thundy goes down, we get a Beast Boost. W. So Gallade comes in, and we see a Down Fan Pivot. Are we gonna go off a Spin? I don't think we can go off a Spin, there's a whole Spiritomb. Unfortunately, there's a whole Spiritomb. Ice Punch comes off. Rocks go up, that's fine. We see a Drain Punch, and this Gallade is a problem. Thankfully, however, I assume this is a Z-Torn Supersonic Sky Strike, because we have to in that situation. Yep, Supersonic Sky Strike, 49, not the worst. We swap out on the Pursuit, not great. We get trapped a little bit. But Hydra comes in on Dark Pulse, does 19. This is definitely AV in my opinion here. Gallade comes in on a Dark Pulse, takes 30, not the worst. We see U-turn, so it's slower than the Hydra. Interesting. Okay, so we see Drain Punch on the B, takes 25, which we live absolutely, and we unfortunately go down to a Sneak. But B is really good. It knocked off the Ayapapa from the Thundy, which would have allowed it to live in HP Ice, eat the Ayapapa, and beat Circuitry. And we knocked off the Ayapapa from the Nidoqueen, which was huge. We see Bulu, and we see Moonblast come out, and we just go for Woodhammer. We see Skarm, and we see Nature's Madness. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So we see Circuitry on a Spike, that's fine. So here we see Nidoqueen come in on a Substitute. So I assume we just go for Hidden Power here. Protect. Sub HP Protect T-Ball. Sub HP Protect T-Ball. Makes sense, okay. To get more terrain recovery, that makes a lot of sense because you have Bulu. Yep. So I personally go for an HP here as we see a Sucker. Sucker's risky there. Sucker's real risky there. What if you just go for Sub and you just are in such a backful position? We'll see a T-Ball from Circuitry, and at this point, Circuitry should just clean up in my opinion. At this point, I think Circuitry should just clean up here, personally. Oh, it's Tap Drop, it doesn't matter. We get it right back. But Tap Drop, that's cute. We get it right back. And one more T-Ball to finish off the game. So, really good game from Beedrill. Beedrill removed the Eye of Papa from the Needle Queen and the Thunderous, allowing the circuitry to steamroll like it did. So honestly, once again, W Beedrill. Beedrill did so much work that game that assisted circuitry in cleaning up the game. So let's go into our next game. We have 3 more games in the unbelievable section, and then that will be it. But make sure to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. This has taken so much time. But before we go into those, make sure to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. This has taken me so long, and I hope you guys enjoy this. So let's go into the next game, which is, one that I'm super excited to watch. Okay, so we see Mickey versus the Carpool Rider. So it's Mickey versus Orn. So Orn's a really good friend of mine. So I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? This was the game when I saw, I was like, oh, Mickey has Beedrill. Let's see what he does. So let us see. So we see Terra, Ghost Mantine, and Fighting Golem. And I am so sick of Orn with this dang Pecharunt. He's been using this thing too much. It's actually an illness at this point. Pecharunt is so toxic, man. Go see an Earth Power, no ability shield, terrible, and we just knock out Rotom with Pure and Black. Great, okay. So here we go Beedrill, and we go for Swords Dance, and we go for a knockoff, doing 75 to Pecharunt, removing the helmet. We see a Shadow Ball come off, and we go for knockoff, and Pecharunt is gone. Deserved. Pecharunt deserved to go down there. So we see the Diancie, 44%, Diamond Storm comes off, we get a boost, we see an Earth Power, see a Mantine come in on a U-turn. Good play. So we see Golem come in, and we see a Terra Fighting, and then the Terra Ghost. Scholar comes off, Rocks go up. We go for Boom? Nope, okay. Empoleon comes in. Now, Empoleon can never flip turn versus this thing because of the fact that it has Water Absorb, so we cannot flip turn ever. We see Skull come off, Flash Cannon. Roost comes off, see a Flash Cannon again. We see another Flash Cannon, and we see a pivot to Glade. And apparently Mickey is just better because he goes for flip turn on that turn. That's crazy to me. We see Beedrill come in, U-turn. 79 is crazy, not gonna lie. We see an Agility, that's fine. Agility is fine. Cycle Cut does nothing, and we Heavy Slam and knock out the Glade. Great, W. We see Cure come in, that's fine. So, do we see a Body Press? No, we just got a Earth Power, that's fine. So here we go for U-turn into, I assume the Empoleon. Yep, the Empoleon comes in, that's fine. So, Empoleon is really good with Beedrill as well because it can defog and stuff and flip turn. So yeah, Valiant, Lando, Empoleon are still alive, and Beedrill. We see Flash Cannon, big crit, not gonna big crit. At this point, go for another Flash Cannon, just a F drop. So we should just go for another Flash Cannon here. Yep, we do. That's fine. So here we go hard in the Beedrill. Big, good play from the key. We go for knockoff. Do 80%. That's insane. We do not get Scald Burned, and we get off the knockoff, knocking out the Mantine. That is huge. Now we Poison Jab, knock out the Diancie. That's crazy, not gonna lie. We see Kyurem come in. He Poison Jab. Big damage. Kyurem gone. And now Pecharunt. Now Brent comes in. The Wizard comes out. And at this point, I think we go for flip turn. That's a bit scary. That's a bit scary. So we see Low Kick is his Battle Bond, and answer is yes. So it now will outrun the Valiant. But we're Vacuum Wave, and we knock out the Greninja, and that is game for Mickey and the Beedrill gang. Okay, so Beedrill. It killed the Pecharunt. It did 70-90 delay, putting on 1%. It knocked out the Kyurem, knocked out the Mantine, and knocked out the Diancie. W, Beedrill, honestly, one of the better Beedrill games. Honestly, this is one of the better Beedrill games I've seen. Now, we have 2 more replays, and then that's gonna be it for the replay section, and there's more to the video, so stay tuned. Alrighty, so this replay, someone DM'd me, so let's see what happens. Basically, what it was is, for a while, my status on Discord was DM Mega Beedrill replays, so a couple people did, so this was one of them. The other one was one of my friends, but the replays were deleted. If you didn't know, there was the big replay purge, and all the replays were gone. So he downloaded them somehow and sent them to me. I would show them, but that would be way too tricky. But anyway, we have this one here, Full Pedal Botanist versus CWFFAN95. Okay, so obviously we watch from the Beedrill side and we see what happens. Alrighty, we see Gardevoir versus Primeape. Okay, so we see that. That's good to know. Big Wisp on the Skarmory. Drove does 2 damage. Actually healed the Rotom, by the way. Shaman comes in on a Volt Switch. There's no ground type, so that's a bit of an issue. Guard comes in. Do we just go for Dragon Dance? Do we just Dragon Dance? Do we Flare Blitz? Okay, that's also fair. Someone doesn't Flare Blitz. That's also fair. Someone dies. Okay, cool. Guard comes in on a Natural Cure. We see Combass. Beedrill comes in. Lando T comes in. We go for a U-turn. Poison Jab. That makes sense. Okay. We see lefties. So that's a free U-turn. As we go into a Skarmory, and we Sludge Wave. That's perfectly fine. So here, we see a Taunt on a Spike. I assume Body Breath. That makes sense. Okay. Body Breath is fine. Or Gravity. Interesting. That makes sense. But why are we Sludge Waving? Why are we Sludge? I guess Shaman, but why are we Sludge Waving in Gravity, huh? There we go. Earth Power. Boom. So this thing's getting pretty healthy from the lefties. My gosh. Okay. Scizor comes in. Seed Flare. Spit Dash Drop. Spot 2. Primeape comes in. Good by Eviolite. And we see Bullet Punch. This isn't just boosting Rage Fist. My gosh. Bullet Punch. We see Arrest. Drain Punch. Big recovery. This Rage Fist is so boosted right now. My god. Like 200, 250 at this point. Jeez. Okay. Guard comes in. Knocks out Primeape. That's fine. We go Shaman. And we see the Gardevoir come in. And we see Baton Pass into Mega Beedrill. And for you guys that don't know, Mega Beedrill outruns Scarf Gardevoir because Gardevoir is base 80 speed, and Beedrill outruns any Pokemon with a Scarf that is base 80 and lower. Foster Persian, we see a devastating Drake. Why Z-moves legal in Natdex? In the Natdex League, I do not know. We see Sucker Punch come out, and we see Beedrill come in, and at this point, Fell Stinger, And that's the game. I think that's the game at this point. Lando comes in. We could have uninstalled this. We could have one Lando, pivot into something, one Lando, pivot into something, one Lando. We would get Intimidate off. And we trace that ability, but we get... That killed 5 Gardevoirs, by the way. +2, Poison Jab, crit. That killed 5 Gardevoirs. That killed 5 Gardevoirs, by the way. And Beedrill, once again. And Beedrill, once again, has another Telestinger sweep. The league, Amber Flight Gaming, and this league is ran by Nejiboston and Nicevsnamy. This is... Both of them are DONBOZOS. So I joined the season, and this was a game that happened in one of the bottom dips. So, let's see what happens. We're obviously going to watch on the Beedrill side. You think I'm crazy? So we see a lead Beedrill on Clodsire. Okay. We see a drill run, 80%. That's kind of nuts, not going to lie. We see a Bombardier come in, knock off, remove that Choice Scarf, which would have housed by Beedrill, and now Beedrill just kills Bombardier. Whoa, okay. We go for U-turn, sturdy procs. Wow, okay. Rotom comes in and dies. That's fine. That's fine. So we're now going to Donphan. We have Shard. We see Prima on a Shard. That makes sense. Okay. Hyper Voice knocks out Donphan, and now we go back into Beedrill, and we go for a drill run. That's an aggressive drill run into a knockoff, and we remove the AV Dangle for the Kyurem, I'm assuming. Now Palmok comes out, Terra Steals, doesn't matter, drill run hits both, and now we Poison Jab, and Prima goes down, and now we go Clodsire, we drill run, and knock it out, and now we go Ogrepon, and we drill run, and knock it out. That was just 6 kills for our beloved Mega Beedrill. That's wild. Not gonna lie, that's wild. They made so many insane predictions that paid off, and that was amazing. So yeah, that was the last replay. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video. And that is it for the replay section. Now, after seeing Beedrill perform in battle, let's go over a few key things that I saw in the replays. For example, the Pokemon that were paired with Beedrill. When you think of what Pokemon pairs well with Mega Beedrill, the first example I thought of was Magnezone. These two pair extremely well together due to the fact that Magnezone alone forces Steel types to run Shed Shell, which is an item that makes all Pokemon immune to being trapped, which is necessary for Magnezone's Magna-Pull ability, which traps all Steel types. Beedrill also gets a benefit from this due to the fact that the Steel types cannot run Rocky Helmet to punish Beedrill's U-turns. They are forced to hold the Shed Shell for Magnezone. If Steel types want to get funny, Beedrill can knock off the Steel type on the switch, removing its Shed Shell, allowing Magnezone to trap the Steel and knock it out, allowing Beedrill to go berserk. However, now that I'm thinking about it, Gothitelle, with its Shadow Tag ability, trapping all Pokemon except Ghost types, literally does Magnezone's job, but better. So use Gothitelle. Another amazing pairing that I like to use with Mega Beedrill is Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash forces in bulky grasses because ground types do not want to switch into Hydro Pump. People use grass types as pivots into Rotom Wash. Rotom can just Volt Switch and go into Beedrill and force damage on the opponent's team. Another reason Rotom pairs well with Beedrill is that Rotom gets Defog, which can remove Stealth Rocks from your side, because if Stealth Rocks go up, as I mentioned before, they would hurt Beedrill immensely. Plus, another reason why Magnezone and Rotom pair well with Beedrill is the Volt Turn core. What is that? Volt Turn is a phrase meaning Volt Switch plus U-turn, allowing you to keep up the momentum for your team while doing damage in the process. Landorus can also be a solid choice. No, not that one. Let me show you the reveal glass real quick. This Landorus supports Beedrill well by its Intimidate ability, weakening physical attackers to assist Beedrill's poor physical defense. Landorus can be used to assist Beedrill with bulky poison and steel types by forcing them out. It can also set rocks or remove all hazards with defog, allowing it to support Beedrill. It can also gain momentum and go for U-turn on the switch, as well creating a devastating U-turn core with Beedrill. Plus, in a draft setting, you remove one of Beedrill's greatest checks from being drafted by anyone else, which can be amazing. If you cannot afford Landorus, or just don't want Landorus, Silvally is a great option by being much cheaper, and thanks to its RKS system ability, it can become any type as long as it is holding the respective memory, and can defog hazards away and pivot out with U-turn or parting shot, and can become any type needed in the specific matchup, which is particularly great in draft. After watching the replays, I found it very interesting that people were pairing Iron Valiant with Mega Beedrill. Because both Pokemon are walled by bulky poisons, I guess they can break each other's checks? Another guess is that Beedrill has an insane speed stat that pairs very well with Valiant and can chip down mons with T-Spike or U-turn and can allow Valiant to clean up in the end. Some other great partners are Tornadus Therian and Alamamola being fat mons with Regenerator, allowing Beedrill to come in safely and do big damage is great. Keep in mind that Beedrill's stabs are mainly resisted by 3 types: steels, poisons, and ghosts. So typically, you want to draft mons that can eliminate those. Like as you see on this Beedrill team, I have Mega Beedrill paired with Magnezone to deal with steals, Hydreigon for ghosts, and Necrozma for poisons. And on this one, I also have Magnezone for the steals, Latios for the psychics, and Crocodile for the ghosts. Beedrill wants to be paired with a Rapid Spinner. As you see, I have Sarina on the first team, but unfortunately, I couldn't manage to get a spinner on the second team, so I'm relying on Defog Rotom to deal with those hazards. So, now we ask the question, is Mega Beedrill garbage by any means? Absolutely not. But, at the same time, am I saying that Mega Beedrill is the greatest Mega Evolution ever? Not a chance. But, Mega Beedrill is one of the few Mega Evolutions done right, by turning a Pokemon who was absolutely garbage for 18 years into a fantastic staple in competitive Pokemon. This was actually my first experience using Mega Beedrill in Pokemon Draft League, and I loved it so much that I created this video talking about it. Mega Beedrill is literally the definition of hyper offense, which is my favorite playstyle in competitive Pokemon. Click funny buttons and do big damage. However, Mega Beedrill fits on any playstyle in competitive Pokemon. So, what are you waiting for? Go try it out for yourself. I already know that you will have an incredible time experiencing the unbelievable power and potential of Mega Beedrill like I did. Feel free to come back to this video when you draft Mega Beedrill to learn about the amazing and not so amazing qualities that Mega Beedrill has. That's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe if you are new, as this is the greatest video I've ever created, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, my Sceptile squad, and to everyone else that is watching, thank you, and have a beautiful day, everyone.